Good morning, everybody. Is Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's video, we have a change to the severe weather threat that brought the area to a completely different spot. So instead of Indiana being included on Wednesday, now they're included on Tuesday, and that's how significant this change was with the severe weather threats. But that also is because these models have also been changing too as well. So it was interesting to see that compared to the Storm Prediction Center showing those other threats during the last few days, but now the threat is different now. But let's first go ahead and start off with the severe weather threats. And now you can see on day 5, which will be from Tuesday into Wednesday. So like I said, instead of Indiana being included on Wednesday, now it's included on Tuesday in places like western Indiana, heading into Illinois, back through Missouri, even places like Arkansas, back through eastern Oklahoma, and then maybe even into western Kentucky and western Tennessee are also included in the threat too as well. So we will really watch closely for the possibility of severe weather as we do head into Tuesday. Now, if we take a look at day 6 looks to be a little bit different, and as you see, it doesn't include the Ohio Valley anymore, and so that's why I said instead of Indiana being included on the Wednesday severe weather threat, they're included on the Tuesday severe weather threat, and that's the one we last took a look at. But if we do take a look at this one, though, as you can see, we do have an area of severe weather for Wednesday, and this mainly includes Kentucky, Tennessee, back into places like Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, heading into Georgia. So those areas will also have to be watching extremely closely for severe weather too as well. But for the overall view, though, after taking a look at these severe weather threats, day 5, which will be this one right here, looks to be a little bit more significant compared to the Wednesday outlook. So we'll have to keep an eye on mostly Tuesday, but we still can't roll out day 6, which is Wednesday, being significant too as well. So we're going to have to watch that too as well. But we'll also watch for more significant changes too as well. Now, if we take a look at the Current Prediction Center outlook, for the 6 to 10 day outlook, northern United States looks to see well above average temperatures, besides places like the Rocky Mountains, so area pretty much west of Montana will likely be in the below average temperatures. But other than that, most of the northern United States does look to stay above average by this point, and even as far down south as Florida could see slightly above average temperatures too as well. Then for the 8 to 14 day outlook, the chances for above average temperatures do increase in some areas, and that does include the Ohio Valley, into the Midwest, and even into the mid to upper plains. We'll also have chances for still above average temperatures, and so we'll have to really keep an eye on that and see how it plays out. And now for the 6 to 10 day outlook on your precipitation, we continue to see above average precipitation across the eastern United States, and then we got a pretty big area that heads from Arizona into New Mexico, back through Denver, Colorado, and then maybe even into Wyoming, seeing below average precipitation right there, and then even heading back into places like California, Oregon, Washington, or even the Northwest United States will likely see above average precipitation as we do head into, let's see, Wednesday into Sunday, it looks like. So that will be for next week, okay? So that will be for next week, Wednesday into Sunday. And now if we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, as you guys can see, we do have an area still continuously above average precipitation, but even over here in the central part of the plains are still seeing above average precipitation, and then back into the deep south area from Florida into Texas we'll also see above average precipitation too as well. Now let's start talking about the radar now. So we're going to start off with the GFS model, and as you guys can see, we do have that storm that brought us maybe a little bit of thunderstorm and severe weather activity to places like Missouri and Illinois, but that storm's finally heading out now, and maybe a little small storm could roll into as well, because we got some pretty good agreement on just a random swath of snow just coming down from Indiana and then heading into Ohio and then West Virginia and then just quickly heading out. But this is the storm system we're going to have to watch though, and as you guys can see, actually looking quite active. And for how this is looking to play out, looking like it will develop into a line of storms as it does head into the New England areas. But before that, looks like we're going to have widespread thunderstorms, and you usually need individual supercells for severe weather, so not necessarily a whole line of storms, but like individual supercells that are like bean sized, kind of like this. And so we don't see very much of that, but we do see some of that though, and so we're still gonna need to watch closely. And even if it's not those type of storms, we could still see maybe some damaging winds and large hail with these big massive storms that move through. But as that finally heads out, then we'll start to see another storm system move through, which also looks to be pretty significant too as well, with maybe a ton of freezing rain heading into the New England area. Holy moly, guys. So that's a lot of freezing rain, but we're also heading over $300 out, so the storm system probably isn't going to happen. Now, if we look at the European model, okay, we're going to go to the European model, and as we continue to take this forward, that system that did brought us severe weather to Missouri and Illinois, like I said, is now finally heading out. And then as that finally heads out, then we'll start to see another storm system move through, and look at that, guys. From one click, boom, and then it just shows it straight into a line of storm. So that means the storm is going to be moving extremely fast across Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee. Just look how fast that develops. So that's a pretty fast developing line of storms right there. That could definitely bring severe weather, but we will even have maybe another storm system move through, and wow, dude. Wow, that's a lot of freezing rain again across New England. So we might have to keep an eye on a potential ice storm that could move through the New England area, but I think that isn't going to happen, especially because we are heading quite far out. Now, if we look at your total precipitation, as you guys can see, not looking like we're going to see very much across Oklahoma in the panhandle of Texas, but we will see some pretty good beneficial amounts across the eastern United States with some isolated pockets of maybe up to 4 inches. But for the most part, most areas do look to stay more in the 3-inch range than they do look to stay in the 4-inch range. But we're definitely gonna have to watch very closely for some pretty good severe storms to dump a lot of rainfall, causing the possibilities of flash flooding across this area. But if we also look at your total snowfall too as well, also looking like we could see quite a bit of snowfall actually with that swath of snowfall that does move through Indiana and Ohio. So looking like a pretty nasty storm that could dump a lot of snowfall. But look at the Cascade Mountains, guy. That's going to dump almost 100 inches of snowfall across those areas right there. And that is a lot. Wow, guys. 95 inches of snowfall is a lot of snowfall. So pretty intense snowfall there. But look at Idaho, guys. In the higher elevations, look at that 63 3 inches of snow. That's more than what the Sierra Nevada mountains are getting. Holy moly, guys. So a lot of heavy snowfall with these storm systems will be likely in as well as possible. So we'll have to really keep an eye on that. Now, before we end this video, let's go ahead and quickly look at the severe weather ingredients. So we're first going to look at the CAPE with the GFS small, and as you guys can see, we will have a little bit of CAPE to work with today for a little bit of severe thunderstorm activity, but we're not concerned about that one. What we're concerned about is this one right here, okay? So for how the GFS small wants to show it, it shows maybe a little bit higher amount of CAPE, maybe next to the Chicago area, but mostly just shows a line of around 300 to even as much as 500 joules per kilogram. So pretty much just a line of CAPE. So not as much CAPE as it was showing, but I mean it's definitely quite a bit of CAPE still showing. So we'll have to really see how these things do play out, but I mean, for how it's looking like, we're definitely going to be talking maybe a little bit of severe weather, but there's also a chance we don't see very much severe weather either. So at least we have some CAPE to work with. I don't know if you necessarily need a ton of CAPE, but you definitely do need at least 500 joules per kilogram to cause maybe a significant severe weather threat, and you also need really good dew points. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that. So for your dew point, let's go ahead and look at that. So for your dew point, as we continue to take this forward, as you see, still seeing a ton of moisture already coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, and just look at that moisture training all the way up there towards Indiana, Illinois, maybe even back to Ohio possibly. But for how it's really looking like, we're definitely going to have plentiful moisture to work with for these storm systems. And then as that maybe moisture heads out, we might start to see maybe some severe weather for Florida, but we'll have to see about that, which is uncertain by this point. So let's go ahead and take a look here at another ingredient. So I mean, we do also need wind shear too as well, so let's go ahead and look at that. We're going to look at the lower drafts. And for the lower drafts, so we got to go to lower drafts, so upper drafts. Let's go ahead and go to the 800 millibar height, or let's go to the 500. I think that's what we want right there. That one wasn't right there, but I mean, I did take a look at the wind shear before, and we definitely had enough wind shear for severe thunderstorms, but I mean, for the most part, we're definitely talking severe weather. So make sure to be weather aware if you do live in this threat or even this threat, okay? So make sure to be weather aware, and you can pause the video to see, making sure you're in this area and if you need to be weather aware or not. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. We'll continue to keep you guys updated with the latest on how these things will play out, but for the most part, looking like we will definitely continue to see significant changes with this system, so there is uncertainty still. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I will do one tomorrow.